entirely. The fifth attitude was the seated position. Okay, those are the 5 classic positions that are practiced, generally speaking, everywhere in Thailand. It doesn't matter, north, south, east, west, Burmese Hill Tribe, southern, northern, royal, eclectic, doesn't matter. Most everybody does at least 4 of those. Everyone does at least 4, and all of them do a little bit of attention to all 5. Sit up straight, please. Just if you can, just for a minute. All right. Some styles combine a couple of those different attitudes into one part of their vinyasa. In other words, they don't break it out as a separate thing. Like they might do a little bit of abdominal work like 3 different times through the session. In other words, they don't just have a place where it's like abdominal work, right? But they all have these emphases, right? And then the other 2 things that we really looked at was puja at the beginning and ending of every session, and we looked at warm-up as a concept at the beginning and ending of every session. So basically, a Thai session is puja warm-up, stuff in the middle, warm-up puja finish. That's the mechanics. Like if you were just to diagram it and say, what components does a Thai session have? Puja warm-up, okay, and you could call that sort of like, that's all preliminary, right? And then you have the stuff that you do, which is generally treating 5 attitudes some way or fashion. Some way or fashion. You're either working lines, you're working points, or you're taking the client through facilitations of yoga postures called asanas. Okay? And then you do warm-up puja finish, and that's the conclusion of the session, right? And then we have many different forms of what we do as far as what is a session. Okay? So technically speaking, in Soma Veda, we don't do a generic session or a general session other than as a demonstration session, as a trial session, okay, or a once in a blue moon because of circumstance kind of session, right? That actually Soma Veda treatment is a program that is a minimum of 7 entirely different treatment sessions. It takes 9 to 12 hours to do a Soma Veda Thai session one time. 9 to 12 hours hands-on. We break that up into a program that takes place over 7 days. And I'll be talking more about that in the future. It's called Therapeutic Day. So when you ask me, you say, Ajahn, do a Thai session for me. I go, great. Let's get the calendar out because it's going to take a minimum of 7 days. And we need to book all 7 of your sessions. And each of those days we do something different. No 2 of those days are the same. Okay? And then when we've done all of those 7 sessions, from the first one to the 7th one, we have done one therapeutic day program in Soma Veda. Okay? And that's a huge difference between what we do with a traditional basis and the one-size-fits-all. I have like my one generic Thai session that I do over and over and over and over and over again. Same with everybody, same with everybody, same with everybody. With maybe a little variation. It sort of naturally occurs. Okay? It's very, very different. There's nothing wrong per se with a general session. This idea of the level 1, for example, is a general session. It's just housekeeping. It's not very specific. It's not really meant to cure or fix anything at all. Okay? It's meant to bring a little bit of attention to all the major yoga postures, at least the fundamental ones: forward bend, backward bend, and twisting pose. Savasana, both face up and face down corpse pose, with one inversion. Okay? And so that's just meant to be a general balancing session. Okay? But then starting tomorrow, when we go into the royal method, which we call Ayurvedic Thai Yoga, we're actually start learning the components of the therapeutic day. Now you already know some of the fundamentals, so we went over the 5 attitudes, right? Face up on your side, face down, face up again with abdominal focus and sitting. Okay? When we start doing the 7-day protocol, Not day number 1 is a session like we just did. A general session, cover all those attitudes a little bit. Plus assessments, plus interview time, plus, okay? Day number 2 is supine position intensive only. In other words, you think of what we did in the beginning, in the supine position, okay? We're now going to expand that to where it becomes a full hour-and-a-half session just in that position. Day number 3, remember we did the sideline position. We did a few things on this side, a few things on this side, right? Day number 3 in the Therapeutic Day program, we're going to take that side position and we're going to expand it to an hour, hour-and-a-half session, all by itself, with nothing else, okay? And the next day, we're going to do the same with prone. We're going to have an hour-and-a-half session on the back. And then the next day, we're going to have an hour-and-a-half session on the abdomen with leg stretching, without doing anything else, not doing the supine, not doing the side, not doing the prone, just a full session from beginning to end, focus on the abdomen and leg stretching. Next day after that, okay, we go to, the 5th day in the middle there is sitting, and we're going to do a half hour, 45 minutes of nothing but sitting position as a complete session, okay? And then the 7th session, we're going to learn the most traditional long flow in the Royal Method, which if you were doing it slow and righteous, would take you 2 to 3 hours to do just that one form, one time. If you're doing it righteous, 2 to 3 hours. And I've actually done that session in 4 hours. Okay, just one session, 4 hours, hands-on. Incredibly powerful. That is the traditional Thai Yoga form. You see, the idea of doing short sessions is new. There was no such thing before 1990. Didn't exist. If you were in Thailand before 1990, 1989, 1987, 1985, 1975, and you went for a traditional Thai Yoga session, the minimum time that person had you on the mat was 3 hours. That was the minimum time. Okay? Again, I take some responsibility for it, because when we started doing this practice here, and every session was 3 hours long, but people were used to going to the spa and getting like a 45-minute session or 50 minutes. People say 1 hour massage. There's no such thing. It takes you 5 minutes to get on the table. It takes you 5 minutes to get off of the table. Really, contact time might only be 45 minutes of actual contact time. But they call it, we're Americans, right? So we call a 45-minute session an hour massage, right? But in Thailand, a session meant 3 hours on the mat with contact, okay? But so I had all these clients in the early 80s who were business people and whatnot, and they're like, we just don't have time to do 3 hours 2 or 3 times a week. It's just not possible. We just don't have that much time. Can't you do anything shorter? And actually, to be honest, I didn't know anything shorter. I had to invent it. I had to make it up. I had to actually craft a way to take what I normally would do in 3, 6, 9, or 12 hours and break it up into shorter and shorter periods of time, and then come up with a way to package it so people would actually buy it. Okay? And the Therapeutic Day program is the end of that process. Okay? It's the end of that process. And so that is the way that Soma Veda practitioners mostly do. They don't sell individual sessions. That's a beginner. That's entry level. Selling the generic entry-level Thai massage. Yeah, I do Thai massage, one size fits all. Book one session, hope you like it, maybe you'll come back, whatever. Okay, that's not how we do it. The way we do it is we sell programs. And Soma Veda is based on a minimum 7-day program, but actually, it's as an advanced person, a 10 or more day program. So when a client comes to me, I don't sell them a session, I sell them a program. It's a minimum of 9 to 12 hours contact time, okay? And what would you charge for that? Well, you don't charge by the session, you charge by the program. And so you have a completely different pricing strategy than most people use for like spas and things like that. Because new clients come in and they purchase from me, okay, the equivalent of 9 to 12 hours hands-on. And actually, I sell the program and not by the hour, because I actually don't know how many hours it's going to take you to get where you need to be. An until we do it. What I say is the program is 9 to 12 hours. 9 to 12 hours. If you respond really well and there's no huge major new issues and we can make the progress that we need to make through the sessions, we can probably do it in 9 hours. If you're very difficult, you're very complex, and you're very, you want to talk about lots of things, etc., well, it might take 12 hours, okay? But I don't charge by the hour, I charge by the program, okay? And the equivalent, though, is whatever's the going rate wherever you live. So, for example, if the going rate for a 1-hour massage where you live was $45, then you would charge a minimum of 9 times 45 for a program. If the minimum was 150 or 200 for an hour session from an expert, then you would charge 9 times 200. So, for example, when my office was in Palm Springs, I charged equivalent of 10 times $250. So my 7-day program was $2,500. Every new client who came in, the first time they came in, I presented them the program and I asked them to pay me $2,500. Every new client that came in the door, right? And then we would negotiate maybe how they pay that. Well, can they put half down and pay the balance the next time they come? Sure, we can work that out. All right. Sometimes clients would go, "Can I pay as I go? Can I just pay as I go? I want to do the program. Can I pay as I go?" I would go, "Yes, you can." That's $300 a session. Now, and actually, financially, I would prefer you to do that because I make $500 more over your sessions. So for me, actually, it's better if you pay as you go. Okay, and I would tell people this exactly word for word, like I'm telling it to you. And I would say, if you want to pay, that's fine. It's $50 more per session. Okay, and that's for the hassle that I got to bill you every time that you come, and I'm going to charge you $50 for that. And I'm charging you $50 for the convenience of pay as you go, knowing that you're also that's going to translate into flexibility with your appointments. People who book individual appointments cancel individual appointments. People who book individual appointments always frequently have something come up. There's a reason why they can't be there, or they're late, or they can't be there, or let's just make it for next week, or let's just make it for next month. I'll tell you for a fact, people who commit to programs come every day of the program. People who pay in advance for programs come to every session that's scheduled. Why? Because I have a policy. If you blow off the appointment or you miss it, then you have to pay the equivalent of that session to make it up before you can come the next time. And I'm very hardcore about that kind of thing because my time is valuable as a therapist. And I treasure it and I value it. And I believe I am doing the very best service that's really available to anyone. And it's my job to convey that to my clients. Okay? So far we've got the level 1. This is a beautiful little intro session. You can add this easily to any other kind of treatment. You could do a 1-hour Swedish massage, and then you could do, a 1-hour basic Thai session, just like we did here in the level 1. Although I'd recommend you do the Thai first, Swedish second, white. Get kind of slippery, and then because you got the oil first, and then you're trying to do the Thai, and it's like whoa, like catching fish. Always do the Thai first. Do the Swedish last. Okay, do all your major motion first, and then let the client zone into that aromatherapy. Okay, so you can do it as an adjunct. You could do an hour Thai session with what you know so far, and if you know some reflexology, for example, well, you could just do a reflexology session as part of it, either before or after. Doesn't matter. If you know any other healing method, if you know Reiki, you could do a Thai session now, and then you could do a Reiki healing session either before or after, even in the middle, like when you get to the abdomen, right? You don't have to, you can integrate